Can you guys hear me? Test, test. Can you guys give me a thumbs up to let me know you guys can hear me? Let's see here. I cannot tell if I'm on. Hello? Can you guys hear me? I don't see anything in the chat. Good morning. Oh, yes. Okay. Reiko-san, konnichiwa. Ohayou gozaimasu. Okay, so you guys, I had a really late night last night. So sometimes when I do international consultations, I have to do them in the evening because it's daytime on the other side of the world. So good morning, mother cluckers. I have a huge mug of coffee here to get me going. Okay, so I decided to do a live, which I typically don't, but I have been so busy with my clients doing the vitamin C treatment that I don't have time for videos. So I decided to do it on a weekend, and I might do more of these depending on, what your questions are, because as I am interfacing with a lot younger clients, I am starting to see more signs of premature aging that I have not seen in my entire career. This is very concerning to me because this is a generation where you guys are more savvy with your skincare. You guys know a lot more about products. There's social media where you can get a lot more information instantly. But on the other side of that, you're also getting information from people who are not professionals. So you follow it because it sounds good to you or you like the way that the person may look. So I'm going to talk about just some do's and don'ts about premature aging. I'm going to give advice to people who are my age, who are postmenopausal, as well as people who are in their 20s. And also middle age. So that way, and if you guys have skincare questions, you guys can put them in there. So just want to let you know about the topics that I'm going to be talking about. So the title of this video is Do's and Don'ts. And I have little notes here to keep me on track, because one of the things I don't like is when I watch a video, they go completely off track. So this is called Do's and Don'ts to Avoid Premature Skin Aging, especially accelerated skin aging. Okay, so I just want to see, first of all, who is here watching. And if you are a licensed professional in the skincare industry, let me know, because I can give you guys some advice too about if you guys are facing a client and you're seeing some things that you've never seen before and you have some questions on treating them, you're more than welcome to put that in the chat as well. Now, let me see if I can see. Okay, so go ahead and put them in the chat here. And hi, Suki, and Colleen, and Afreen. I think that's right. Did I say it right? So anyway, so now tell me where you guys are from. First of all, I'm just going to wait till people hop on here. Oh, good. Okay. Afreen. You're from India? Seriously? What time is it in India? Florida! I went to go visit Florida. There you go. You're actually in Japan. Where in Japan are you? I was born in Osaka, Japan. In Florida. It's 9:30 p.m. there. Okay. Um, so at nighttime. Okay. Okay, so there's more people in online, but nobody is putting down where they're from. Are you guys all shy? There's like a slight delay here. Oh, Kyoto. 1 a.m. What are you doing up? Oh my goodness. So Kyoto. So do you speak then? Are you Kansai Ben? Lila from the Netherlands. Isn't this amazing? I love your handle, Lila, by his grace. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, my mom speaks Kansai Ben. She'll say things like "shiran." um, it's so cute. I'm from the Caribbean, but in Maryland now. Okay. Wow. Where are you in Maryland? You guys, do you realize I only have, it looks like one person from the United States? Everybody else is, so there's one here from the Netherlands, one from Kyoto, the other from India. Wow. That's amazing. Alaska. Okay, so we have one from the 50 states. A little town near Annapolis. Okay, I know where Annapolis is. I love isn't that where the harbor is? I think that's where the harbor is. I've been there. I actually lived in close to Washington, D.C. Back when I was in my, hold on, 30s. I had to think about that. It's like almost 30 years ago. Like, how old was I? Okay, so you may want to, especially, I get a lot of professionals who watch me, and I get a lot of emails. And so you may want to take some notes. And if you have questions, I am more than happy to answer them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first, for those of you, any of you who are new to my channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Christy and I have been treating clients professionally. I'm a licensed professional treating clients in skin and skincare for over 16 years. And I have done over 26,000, according to my software program, over 26,000 different treatments for skin ranging in the areas of acne, hyperpigmentation, treating anti-aging, people who have autoimmune diseases such as psoriasis and eczema. Now, typically, those two are treated by dermatologists. So when a client comes in, usually it's because of the acne or some other skin condition that are related to eczema or psoriasis. And in the process of treating their symptom of that, we end up healing or managing, depending on the person's diet, their skin condition. So that's what I basically do. So, and I focus specifically in the areas of hyperpigmentation, age spots, melasma, and mainly treatment-resistant hyperpigmentation. So this is hyperpigmentation where they have tried all sorts of treatments, over-the-counter products, topical medications, laser, microderm, acid peels, all kinds of things, and their melasma is getting worse, getting larger, or it just nothing is happening. So typically by the time a person comes to seek my help, usually I am their last resort. They have seen the average amount of dermatologists that they've seen is about 5 to 7. My record is one client that has seen 11 dermatologists and 3 plastic surgeons, and nothing has helped. So that's basically my background. So what I am talking about today is, first topic is the bell curve of aging. Now, when this gets reloaded, it'll have graphics to kind of show you um, what I'm talking about. So if you guys are familiar with, are you guys all familiar with the bell curve? So can you put in the chat? Because if you don't really understand the bell curve, when I talk about the bell curve of aging, it may not really make sense to you. So please put in the chat. Okay, so even Neko, who's from Japan, she knows the bell curve. Does anyone else know what that is? No. Okay, so the bell curve is used a lot in statistics and in math, where it is like a bell, the top shape of a bell. So it goes like this. So you have the low end, then you have the high end, and in the middle, it looks like the shape of a bell. So the top part, it goes high and then curves around and it goes down. So is that sounding familiar? I'm just like looking for the response before I move forward. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so I want you to picture so both ends are low, right? And then it kind of goes up, right? So I want you to picture on one end that's low. So, and then you know how it slowly rises, kind of comes up and then goes back down, right? So the bottom part of it, that is when you're young, really young. The other side of it is when you're really, you're older, right? And then the top part right here is like in the middle. So when you're aging, in the part that you're younger, I want you to look at it like you're storing up, right? You're storing up, because that is when you're growing your collagen and your elastin for your skin. That is when your diet really, so if you got a lot of sun when you were younger without sunscreen. So my age group, we didn't wear a lot of sunscreen. They had coconut oil, or they called it suntan lotion, actually. And so um, you're going to see like my age group who got a lot of sun with a lot of premature wrinkles, fine lines and wrinkles, because we didn't really relate that. It wasn't very popular. But so that's the age. So when I say at the bottom, so we're talking about, right, like when when you're born, and actually even starts before you're born, but when you're born and then when you're younger. So if you guys are mothers and you have children, this is when it's really important to store up a lot of K2, vitamin K2. And unfortunately, in our Western diet, it's lacking all throughout the life anyway. And in countries like Japan, where I'm from, they go, as you know, where it's rich in vitamin K2. You will notice, this is what I've noticed, when you will notice these babies, where all babies have really chubby cheeks, right? They have really chubby cheeks, and their skin is too big for them, and they're chubby all over. But then it starts to slowly wane. And if you notice that about age 9, for whatever reason, collagen 3, which is what makes kind of the plush, our skin is made up of collagen 1 and collagen 3, it starts to go down. So if the mother has been eating a lot of foods naturally in vitamin K2, that baby will have a lot of plumpness, okay? More than average babies. And if you've ever seen some babies, because I've seen some babies who are like really skinny, They don't really have a lot of baby fat. That is an indication that the mother didn't eat foods that are rich in vitamin K2. So what happens is, as we age, our baby fat starts to go down. And the more that you had when your body was developing, the more you will have later. Because guess what? As we start to go up, right, a lot of things will start to slowly shut down. But with collagen, the one thing about collagen is that it stops in your mid 20s. So think of the bell curve, right? So in your mid 20s, you're probably right at the top of the bell curve, right? As far as collagen goes. Because after that, whatever you have, whatever you built up from the bottom of the bell curve all the way going up, that's all you have. And then when those of you who are at the top of the bell curve, now you want to try to preserve that. So what vitamin K2, the role that it plays with collagen during that stage is actually it prevents the calcification of elastin. So if you have a lot of sugar, if you had a poor diet, it already starts to happen. So for some of my clients who are drinking those caramel macchiatos every day and eating having a lot of high sugar and soda, you are seeing premature premature aging of skin. If you are already starting to see fine lines and wrinkles, then that's because the calcification was already happening in your teens to show up in your 20s. So that's why it's considered premature aging of the skin. So when you are in your 20s and 30s, you got to concentrate on K2, not because you're going to build a whole lot, but because you want to prevent the calcification, especially as you start to reach middle age. And also, Minute, do you mind? Sorry for the sidebar. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and put your questions, and I will answer them after every topic. Okay. Okay. So, and this is something that a lot of people don't think of aging this way. Now, here is the thing. If you see a lot of influencers who are really young, well, really young to me, but when they're really young and they are doing all of these advanced anti-aging techniques, such as Botox and microdermabrasion and acid peels, more of the invasive anti-aging treatments. If you're at the top of the bell curve, that is when your skin is at its best, right? Especially in your 20s, your skin cell renewal rate naturally on its own is doing pretty good. You still need some topical exfoliation, but your skin, for the most part, I'm talking generally speaking, I'm not talking about the people who have acne and other skin conditions. It's your skin cell turnover naturally is doing well. Now, when you start to introduce things, especially like almost on a daily or weekly basis, like salicylic acid and retinol, retinoids, so whether it's Retin A, Tretinoin, glycolic acid, especially topical, the ones that you leave on your skin, you are basically speeding up your skin cell turnover rate. Now, as we get older, you're starting now to go over that bell curve, and your skin cell turnover rate is starting to slow down, and you're starting to see uneven skin tone. You're starting to see, uneven patches. Then what happens is that's when you start to need some of these things to keep, to kind of keep that skin cell turnover rate going, because what you're doing is you are shortening your telomeres. Okay. And we only have a limited amount of the length of the telomeres. So if you speed that up when you're young and you don't need to do it, then you're only speeding up your aging process of your skin as well as your entire body, because especially if you're using things that can be systemic, because your skin is part of the integumentary system, so that's why it's systemic. So that's why when you put a cigarette or a nicotine patch or a birth control patch or, whatever patch on there. That's why it's systemic. It goes through the whole system. Okay. So what a lot of these young people are doing is to prevent anti-aging. They're actually, for some of them, speeding up the aging, which explains why I had one client and she said I could use her illustration. I just couldn't say her name. She's 26 years old. So she's at the top of the bell curve. Okay. When she first submitted her photos, I thought she was like she was between 33 and 36. And so she looked 10 years older. And I said, okay, and when I looked at her consultation form, she was using Retin for already, like, I think she said like 5 years. Too young. So you have to remember, a lot of these young people are using things to help prolong, to prevent aging, right? So anti-aging, but they're actually shortening up their telomeres and they're actually speeding up premature aging. Okay. So that's one thing. So at the top here, so when you're here and you're going up here, this is where you're building up. You're building up your storage. So the more healthier you are, you're storing up more, right? Then you're basically helping your telomeres not get shortened, right? So by the time you are my age, which is like, here's a bell curve, right? I'm like down over here, right? So by the time that you're my age, you can see that aging is cumulative, and whatever habits that you had when you were younger on the other side of the bell curve will pay off towards the end. So it is not just about the right skincare products that you're using. It's also about nutrition, and it's also about moving your body and exercising. Okay. So that's what I want to talk about right there. So this is the part you're storing. If you're at the top of the bell curve right here, this is where you're pretty much at restoring, then prevention, right? Because as you come down here, then you're using up, number one, what you have, and you're basically trying to maintain what you have. So it's very similar to finances. And I don't know if this is the audience that even is interested in finances, but when you're younger, you want to store up all that money, right? Because it's going to build. Because by the time you get to this part right here and you're getting ready to retire, whatever you saved up, the entire part of that bell curve has to last you the rest of your life, because now you don't have the energy to work, right? So it's kind of similar to that. So, okay, so I am now going to answer some of these questions here because, and the other thing I did want to talk about too is when you look at somebody, okay, and there's a lot of, what do they call that? Data points that you take in instantly to help you kind of assess how old that person is, right? So, like, you're not just looking at their skin, you're looking at the way that they walk, the way that they dress, the tone of their voice, because as we get older, our voice gets deeper, right, for women because our estrogen levels. We're looking at all these different things to kind of assess, oh, that woman is in her 30s, that woman is in her 40s or 50s or, whatever, right? So it's not just about the skin, because even a woman who, let's just say she's in her 50s, because that's when the estrogen really starts to take a dive, right? So when you're in your 50s, they could have really good skin, but she's in her 50s somewhat, because just the way that we age, we can only fight aging so much. So that's why it's so important for those of you who are watching those of you who are watching, that if you're like up here, right, that you really need to start the prevention, because by the time you come down to my age, you're really going to see all the late nights, the stress, the bad foods, all of that stuff accumulate, the accumulation of time of all of that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to answer some of these questions according to the bell curve here. And here's what's interesting. In my analytics, it's not up to date, but in my analytics, I wrote it down what it was. Let me see. So age 25 to 34 years, 31.9% of my audience is that. And my age group, which is 55 to 64 years, is only 8.9%. So that's interesting because typically, the people who watch your channel, they can relate to you. So they are your age. So I think it's really interesting that people who are like young enough to be my children are watching. So I think that's great because you guys are at that stage where you can get the information and not do what the mainstream is doing, because I guarantee you some of these things that these influencers are doing, they are going to regret, sadly. So I love that. And for some reason, my age group, maybe they don't relate to me because I've had some people say, when you get to my age, you're not going to be saying that or whatever. I'm like, I'm actually older than you. So, let's see, can you recommend a good everyday vitamin, also mineral supplement? Do you mind? Okay. So first of all, this is what I talk about in my consultation. Our bodies are an amazing thing. Our bodies can recognize at the molecular level when a vitamin or mineral is synthetically created or one that is naturally in food. And there is something to be said by the foods, and I understand that the way that food is grown and things like that, they have less and less nutrition, so therefore supplements are necessary. I understand that. But the enzymes and the amino acids naturally occurring in our foods help with the process of helping our bodies metabolize a lot of these vitamins and minerals. So if you can, try to get one, and I will later in the link or in the description, I will put some recommendations of vitamins. So if you see that most of them are whole food sourced, those are your better bets. And unfortunately, those are the ones that are the most expensive. So for example, if you see a lot of the less expensive vitamins, I think it's called something like Nature Made, and it has a yellow label, and they're very inexpensive, and you'll see them. It's very common at Costco or CVS. Those are the ones you want to stay away from. Okay, you want the ones that are actually whole food sourced, third-party tested. I'm a little bit more familiar with this now because I've worked with this one company to help formulate a nutrition supplement to help with my clients who've had really stubborn melasma. And you can see on my website at goseechristy.com, you'll see the melasma before and after photos, where we did a lot of things with skincare, but we also did things with nutritional supplements. So I will put that in there. Also, there are certain vitamins that don't do well with minerals when taken together, right? So you have to remember, our bodies, when they were created, there was no multivitamin and mineral supplements. We had to get them wholly from, foods, different foods. So there's certain vitamins that, and I know it's inconvenient, but there's certain vitamins that you should take earlier in the day. So for example, the vitamin Bs, because they help convert the foods that you eat, the calories that you ingest into energy, versus like a mineral like magnesium that can help you when you sleep, and calcium at night. So when you're sleeping, as your body recovers, that calcium can be converted into, like your bones. So um, that goes into, I know that it was just a simple question, but it gets a little bit more into that. So I'm just giving an example. Vitamin C. So here's the trick with vitamin C. Here's something that I do. It's not proven, but okay. But what vitamin C has been proven is that it helps fight oxidation, right? It neutralizes reactive oxygen species, and that's what is anti-aging. Well, sugar and fried foods, if you eat that, it introduces free radicals into your body. So what I do, I know it sounds crazy, but I take a vitamin C 30 minutes before I eat, like if I want a treat. So I'm not one of those people that um, says I only eat clean. For the most part, I would say 92% of my diet is clean, but sometimes I do enjoy my treat and I don't feel guilty about it. So what I do is to neutralize that is um, I take a vitamin C from cherries, so they're derived from cherries, and I take that before I'm about to have that treat. Now, studies have shown that when you do take vitamin C with sugar, the absorption rate of the vitamin C goes down. Well, that's obvious, right? Why? So I take it 30 minutes before to help increase, right, my body to be able to fight the free radicals that I have voluntarily taken in. Okay, so that's one trick that I do. Um, Sorry that the lighting is weird. The sun is coming up here. Yay, I got a smiley face. So for those of you who are expecting to hear that I eat perfectly, I do not. I want you to know that I allow myself certain things to eat. I do eat very little processed foods, but I do have some sugar. I do allow myself some sugar. My weakness, which I do pay for it, I do break out sometimes is eating ice cream, but I make homemade ice cream, so I know what's in it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so seaweed. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about seaweed. So one of the things you're seeing an explosion in the United States, I'm not sure about any other country, is you're seeing an explosion of autoimmune and you're seeing an explosion of thyroid related diseases, which I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. So I have that. Um, and I think part of the reason is that when I was younger, I did eat a lot of seaweed, and then I went through a time like in college where I ate all Western foods. I went crazy because we didn't eat that growing up. So I ate a lot of like junk food in college. I went crazy. It was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is so good. So seaweed normalizes. It has naturally occurring iodine. And if you take that with Brazil nuts or you eat something else that has selenium in there, then that helps increase this, the iodine. So those two minerals go together, right? So, and I did a video on um, this little thing that I take, the rootless, because I know some people cannot, that they're not going to eat seaweed every day. In Japan, it's in their miso soup, wakame, and it's in a whole bunch of different things in sushi, like the nori. But for the most part, most people do not eat seaweed. So you guys must have this for your thyroid because your body recognizes the natural occurring iodine in foods more than the chemically synthetically created, the ones in a lab. Okay. Um, but the fine lines are wrinkles. It can be due to other factors, right? Like pollution, sun exposure, dry skin. Yes, absolutely. So this is where when I talk to my clients for the consultation, and they're thinking I'm just going to tell them to use this skincare product, use this skincare product, and then you'll be fine. And they're surprised to find out how much time I spend asking questions on their past skin history, how much sun that they got, where they live, um, what kind of, what do you do for work? Because if they are like grave shift workers or nighttime workers, studies have shown that when you disrupt your circadian rhythm and you're working when really your body should be sleeping and recovering, those people tend to age faster. So, yes, when we talk about sunscreen, when we talk about pollution, all of these things, this is where nutrition comes in, the proper skincare. So, here's another thing. When your skin when you inflict low grade inflammation on your skin on a consistent level. So this means using leave on exfoliants, retin, any type of retinoids, acne products, things like that. What is happening down at the cellular level is your body is going, there's inflammation, inflammation, inflammation. Now, the positive side to that is that your fibroblasts, it will stimulate new collagen and elastin because it's signaling your skin that it needs to heal, right? And that's why people love it, because their skin looks great because they're having new skin. But whenever you have inflammation, you also are producing more white blood cells, right? Because they think there's an infection. Because where there's inflammation, the body thinks there's an infection. So you're creating more leukocytes, right? White blood cells to go to that area. And then what happens is it also starts to long term degrade the collagen and elastin at the cellular level. So this is why there is a give and take when you yourself inflict that inflammation. Okay. So if you watch any other science videos or health videos, they talk about inflammation, inflammation, inflammation. And even though our skin is the largest organ, it's typically the last organ that it shows up. So by the time it starts to show up on your skin, it's because there's been inflammation going on in your body, right? So dry skin. Now, with dry skin, there's a whole array of factors with that, and that could be hormonal. It could be your diet. I have several clients who are completely vegan. That's their choice. I don't have a problem with people who are vegan, but if they're not getting enough essential fatty acid sources from nuts, then their skin is going to be perpetually dry. There's going to be not one moisturizer, not one hydrating serum that's going to fix that, because their skin cells are lacking the lipids that surround that skin cell. Okay, so it allows for more moisture, water from our skin to be released into the air. So that's where your skin is dehydrated. Okay. So what ages should you use retinoin? Oh, so Retin A? Okay, so Retinol and Tretinoin. Okay, so really, if you are gung-ho on using that, gosh, it is like really bright. So sorry, you guys, that I look really like with this. Hold on, let me see if I can like shut the blinds here. Can you guys wait real quick? Hold on. Okay. It's not as good, but oh well. Okay, so remember the bell curve I talked about? Okay, with the bell curve, I think now there's a whole lot of factors, but generally speaking, I think that people who want to use that should think about using it when their collagen and elastin really starts to degrade. So really, I think it should be used really depend. Now, again, it depends, but in their late 30s, if they are seeing a significant aging, physically aging in their anywhere from their late 30s into their 40s. Now, when you start to experience menopause, even though our collagen and elastin is really starting to, you can see visible changes. You have to remember that already started probably 10 years prior. And we don't have enough, excuse me, oils in our skin. So then people who are postmenopausal, which most of the people who are watching are probably not at that age, but that's when you have less, your lipid barrier is compromised. So that's when their tolerance level for Retin A or tretinoin goes down. So they may convert it down to retinol. Okay, so I personally cannot use any retinoic acid because I am allergic to it. I get hives. So I have had to use other alternate means of that. Okay, so, and you can find actually very similar results with it if you use like a glycolic acid peel. And one of the things I like about the glycolic acid peel, you have to go with a experienced professional because you can do some damage just like you can with any type of retinoic acid. But so you only go once, right? You expose yourself to that glycolic acid once, and then, afterwards, when your skin is recovering, you can see that instead of doing it every single day in, that low grade inflammation, like with retinoids, where you're doing it every single day or twice a week or whatever, the glycolic acid actually just introduces it into your skin. Your skin kind of like freaks out a little bit, wakes up, and then really starts making that collagen and elastin. Then you're not exposing yourself to this low grade inflammation for long periods of time. So that's one of the benefits of that. Um, let's see, 24 years old female. So I should be worried because I'm starting to get fine lines under my eyes, and I very sensitive, dry skin under my eyes, very thin. The veins show through the skin. At 24? Okay, so here is a really good example. Afreen, thank you very much for being very vulnerable to sharing what's going on. Okay, so without knowing your diet, but at 24 years old, you should be at the top of your game, right? And if you're already getting fine lines and you have sensitive dry skin, like that to me is like someone who's already in their late 40s. So, and if uh, your veins show through the skin, that means your skin is pretty thin. So I would, first of all, I would have to see photos of it. But that right there tells me that you're not getting enough amino acids in your diet. That amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So I would have to know more about that. And then I would also I would ask, are you using retinol right now? Because that can happen to people who are younger. So tell me what you've done. I'd have to know like your skin's history past what you've done with your skin to know that. But I will tell you this: at 24 years old, that's premature skin aging right there. Now, the great news about this, Afreen, is you're only 24 years old. So the good news about that is that you are still young enough to recover from your mistakes. Okay. Dark circles too. I think it's due to shadowing. It looks more bad in low lighting. What to do? I'm very interested in learning more as I was a science student in school. Okay, so if you have dark circles, that's because your skin is thin. You don't have enough collagen. So if there's blood pooling there, and if no matter what you use as far as an eye cream or anything, and the dark circles still are there, you get enough sleep, the dark circles are still there. That could be, once again, I would need to see photos, but that tells me that that could be a blood related hyperpigmentation, right? So I would have to see your skin really in that. Um, and when you were younger, I would like to also know if you had a varied diet, because at 24, once again, if there's not enough collagen, so here's one of the things I will tell you. I had one client who's been with me for 2.5 years. She came because she had more melasma, but one of the things that she saw improve after 2 years, she's taking the collagen. I talk about this, the marine collagen, the wild raised one, collagen 1 and 3. Her skin has plumped. She says, I have cheeks like you now, right? And so that's one of the things, is you want to have collagen. So I would suggest that's one of the things to really increase that collagen, because your skin is basically collagen 1 and collagen 3, and that's marine collagen. And one of the great things about marine collagen is easily digestible. It's more readily bioavailable than bovine collagen. Now, bovine collagen is good too. I'm not saying it's not, but the other types of collagen that are in bovine really helps with your the lining of your veins and your organs and things like that, your muscles, not necessarily the skin. Okay. Let's see. Is it fine to use exfoliant 8% glycol when you are something 60 with dry skin? 8% glycol. So is it a rinse off exfoliant, or is it a leave on exfoliant? Because when you have a leave on exfoliant, there's a lot of chemical changes that happen on your skin long after you've applied that. So I'd have to know that. Let's see. I underwent surgery for breast cancer and I'm currently undergoing hormone therapy. As a result, I'm experiencing symptoms similar to. Yes. Okay. Here is a thing. Anyone taking HRT, hormonal replacement therapy, are the hormones synthetically derived? Are they derived from like pregnant mares, or are they synthetically derived? Because once again, at the molecular level, the molecular structure of the hormones, your body recognizes if it's close to your, like the bioidentical hormones, or are they synthetically sourced. When they're synthetically sourced, if you can look up the studies on your own, why bioidentical hormones can get a bad rap is because the studies that they used for that, they were using synthetically derived hormones. So yes, there were some people who got female related cancers. The cancer rate, increased: breast cancer, cervical cancer, uterine cancer, all of that. So I would have to know a lot more, Dako, about your background, your medical background. But I would also see, this is another thing. If there is a history of taking anything that affected your hormones, such as birth control pills, the more female related hormonal problems you will have later in life. This is what we're all starting to find out. In addition to all the microplastics, those are all endocrine disruptors, which then disrupt our hormones. So once you disrupt the hormones, you have weight related issues. You can't put on weight. You can't get the weight off. There's all your hair falls out. You grow hair in places you don't want the hair to grow. So there's all kinds of things. So this is one of the things I talk about all the time about skincare and how you want it to be as clean as possible. Some of the Amazon's top selling night creams and anti-aging creams, look at the ingredients. It's like the second or third ingredient will have like vinyl dimethicone and cyclopentasiloxane and all these. Why would you want to have these things on your skin, right? So there's all these multi-factors, right? What I do is, so when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, I went to an integrative medicine doctor, and I said to the doctor, okay, I did a lot of studies, so I don't want to do hormone replacement therapy yet. Can I try to manage this with diet? So he put me on some supplements to help with like my thyroid, right? And I take some of them, but I try to do it mostly with whole foods. And I eat a whole lot more organic tofu, so soy. So even though some people, I understand some people cannot do soy, but you have to remember, I'm Japanese, and in Japan, we have eaten soy for centuries, centuries. And almost everything is made out of soy. Miso soup is made out of soy. Natto is made out of, fermented soy, which has a high amount of vitamin K2. Um, tofu is soy. Like almost teriyaki sauce is made from soy sauce. Like all of this stuff is made out of soy. So I've been eating soy even before I was born, right? My mother was eating that, but I stopped eating that. So when I was in my um, mid 40s, I started to experience the what do you call it? Like, hot flashes and things like that. So I started to eat, and my mom, she said she never experienced menopause. So started to I started to eat soy again. And guess what? They went away. So since then, I never stopped eating soy because I didn't have any of those symptoms. So my menopause was easy peasy after that. So for me, I ate soy. If you eat yams, so they naturally have phytoestrogens, and your body is more, um, you'd have to eat a tremendous amount of phytoestrogens in order to get like the cancer and things like that. So there was one study that was done where they did the soy, and the doctor told me that study was highly fallible because it was mostly on women who were in their 60s. They never, and it was a randomized testing. So, when they said that they got cancer, they never taken into account that some of those women were, in addition to taking soy, taking synthetic hormones, or they had a family history of cancer. So that study actually has been kind of tossed aside. So, um, so it all depends. So I do soy. You can also eat yams. Now, and if you're like, ugh, I don't like tofu, I don't like yams. There are supplements that derive them from the yam and the soy. So again, you'd have to talk to your doctor. I'm just telling you what I did, and it seems to help tremendously. Um, okay, let's see. Are there any ways to address this? Okay, so your hyperpigmentation is from hormones. Obviously, that's what triggered it, right? It seems like. Um, I'd have to see your dark spots. I'm assuming they're on your face or your hands. Um, so we'd have to do some diet adjustments, and then we'd have to use some naturally derived skincare that are melanin suppressors, because I will tell you this much. If you're already developing the darker spots and you use Retin-A or hydroquinone, it's going to get worse. And I'll tell you why. Because when you use hydroquinone, which it doesn't matter what I say, people are going to use it. It's a skin bleaching agent. And the reason why you have to take a break for at least 4 months is because you can overtax your liver. Your liver is trying to filter that out of your system. That is why. And for people who have really dark skin and have melasma, that pigmentation can turn gray, and it's called achronosis. And once you have that, they have to stop it, and basically, you have to really go through a detoxification program to get your liver back to where it needs to be, because that's when it gets really bad. And so hydroquinone for the short term can deliver results, but long term, it will come back to bite you. That's what I've seen. My most stubborn melasma clients have been using Retin-A and Tretinoin, or Retin-A, or hydroquinone for long periods of time. So let's see. I learned my skin needed. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. Um, let's see. You have tons of time. Do whatever she says. I've known somebody at that age. Yeah. So that's the positive thing, friend. I don't want you to get discouraged. Like you have way more time. If you were coming to me at my age, we would have to repair some of the damage, but can we go back depending on how long they've, it's it's the accumulation of time, and we can never get back time. So um that's why I'm not able to explain it to you. Oh, I totally understand. The fact that you can even write this down is wonderful, because I couldn't do it in your native language, that's for sure. So, oh yeah. Um, oh, well, okay, so here's another thing that's happening in your body that you didn't share. If you have a lot of stress or anxiety, your body releases a lot of cortisol, right? And can that breaks down your collagen and elastin for long periods of time too. So it's also very important to have high amounts of serotonin in your body, to be happy, to be relaxed. This is why I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media, because I actually have a life that I have a lot of friends here. So, but I'm old school, right? I don't have the need to pretend to be someone that I'm not. Um, so, there's a whole lot of different factors that go into it. And people who have melasma, they have shared with me that they are depressed. They have anxiety. They don't want to go outside anymore. One person shared with me that they're so embarrassed they don't even want to go outside, and I totally understand that. So, and then that can make it worse. So, I that's I so this is why I'm still doing this today, because I'm financially okay. Like I don't even need to be doing this anymore, but I'm doing it more to help people. So, which is why I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I actually am personally treating clients still, part-time, part-time. Okay, leave on. Okay, so at your age, no, because that's only exacerbating the dry skin. Glycolic acid, so it's naturally derived from sugar. Now it's synthetically made too, but what that does is it's speeding up your skin cell turnover rate so you can get TUL, transepidermal water loss. So that means your skin cell is turning so fast it can't hold on to the water. So there's a release of moisture constantly happening. So um, at 60, yes, you do need help in. You're in my age group. Okay, so you're going to actually you do need that help to the skin cell turnover rate, right? But you don't have enough lipids and essential fatty acids to hold, that's naturally being produced. You're losing too much water, and you don't have enough oils, because at our age, we just are not producing that. So here's a couple things, and this is generally speaking because I have not seen your skin. I don't know what your diet is like, but you need to include more foods in your diet that have a higher amount of essential fatty acids. So, like eating fatty fish, like salmon, eating almonds. Almonds actually really, I saw a big difference, not only in my face, but in my hands, right? Because when you get to our age, we get that really dry, crepey skin. Um, so to the point that, I get that shine on my face. So that's one of the things that I would recommend. I also would recommend for you um, a you can use a glycolic acid base like exfoliant that you use on your face, but then you rinse it off. Okay, so you're getting what the benefits of it, but you're not leaving it on your face. Our face is not naturally made to have acids on to leave on our face. This is why I'm seeing these young clients that have really premature aging skin. So let's see. Is there a good brand that you recommend? Just clarifying my questions. Um, one of the ones I like is Pure Encapsulations. Now, not all of them, okay? I'd have to look at them individually. So I'll give you an example. One of the products that I recommend from Pure Encapsulation is Liposomal GLutathione, okay? That's an antioxidant that our body naturally makes. But if you have um, autoimmune, you're taking medication, and you're overtaxing your liver, you need glutathione supplements, right? Taking collagen, different collagens with the different amino acids can help your body make glutathione, and taking glutathione. Now, the problem with liposomal glutathione, liposomal is better than regular glutathione. Studies have shown you have higher levels of plasma glutathione in your blood. However, if you look at a lot of the liposomal glutathione, it's in sunflower oil, which is a highly processed seed oil and is very inflammatory. So Pure Encapsulation is one of the few I found where in the capsule, first of all, it's made out of beeswax, so it's not synthetic. And the oil that it's dissolved in is extra virgin olive oil. Now, it is costly. It's really expensive. My clients get a special pricing on it because I'm a licensed practitioner, so I can dispense that to them. But that's one that you may want to look at. A lot of their brands are good, but I'm not familiar with all the brands. But that's one of the ones I would look at. So hope that helps. Let's see here. Oops. Why did I shadowing and should I start taking collagen? So yes, if you're already getting fine lines and wrinkles, that's already telling me you're low in vitamin K2 because of the calcification of your elastin fibers, your collagen and elastin fibers. They're already becoming striated and they're not being able to move as freely. As it gets calcified, it can't move as freely. So then what happens is your skin can't move, right? So then it starts to crease, crease, crease. And then eventually, so fine lines and wrinkles are a form of scarring. Hyperpigmentation is a form of scarring. So yes, increase your diet of vitamin K2. So yes, I think you should take collagen. And as far as your eyes here, I don't know what products that you have access to, but instead of using an eye product that has Retin-A or anything like that, I probably would recommend something that is more hydrating, moisturizing. Those are two different things, and has vitamin C, and you use that at night. That's what I would recommend, just based on the information that you're telling me. Okay. You are so welcome. Okay, let me see here. You're late to the party. Okay. Is it Veronica? I hope Poland. Man, I'm getting so many people from different parts of the country. Oh, you are so welcome. Is it Mara or Mara? Hope I said it right. Mara. To answer that. Yes. Okay, so the other topic I'm going to talk about, since we've run out of questions here, is so here is one of the things. If you're considering laser, whether it's resurfacing for aging or for hyperpigmentation, I've already had 3 this past week where they had pretty bad hyperpigmentation and they did laser. Now, when they did laser, all of them said when they went to go do the laser, they were never asked. They were never asked if they used retinol, what they were using beforehand. Because here's the thing, when you are using anti-aging products such as glycolic acid or salicylic acid, and basically anything that's going to make your skin photosensitive, right? For the treatment of fine lines and wrinkles or hyperpigmentation. If you are using that and you go in for laser, doesn't matter for what, you are basically incurring some level of damage to the deeper layers of the skin, right? So what happens is, for those of you who are Fitzpatrick skin type 3 through 6, you're going to get pigmentation that eventually shows up on your skin. And depending on what type of laser that you are using, it'll show up. And what type of skin that you have and how long you've been using these products, you're going to get hyperpigmentation even faster. It's going to show up, and it's going to be it's going to be like clusters of pigmentation. So if you're using, you should be, so and this is another thing. Here's some of the things that you need to look at when you're looking for a professional and you're considering laser or microdermabrasion or facials or anything professional. If on the phone you are asking questions to make an appointment, I would make an appointment first for a consultation first. Or if on the phone they're asking for an appointment, then they should ask you, are you using any skincare products that contain glycolic acid, retinol, glycolic acid, salicylic acid, and for how long, and what are you using it for? Is it for the treatment of fine lines, hyperpigmentation, or acne? And if you say, yes, I am, and they still take your appointment, do not go. Because and this is what we did when I actually had my brick and mortar store, I would actually say, I would have my receptionist ask all these questions, because if they were, we would advise, depending on the treatment that they were getting, that they wait for a month, 4 to 6 weeks was generally speaking, or several months if they were taking it for long periods of time, because we got to get it out of the system first, because your skin is already, everyone knows that when you use this, it makes your skin photosensitive just by the sun, right? The sun, which is like, I don't know, millions, billions miles away. Now you're going to put laser into your skin. So if you need sunscreen, if it makes your, sunscreen with the UV rays, now you're going to go in for laser that goes deep, deep into your skin. So you need to get these photosensitizing ingredients out of your system before you do laser. Now, obviously, that goes deeper into the skin. So the deeper it goes into the skin, the longer you need to wait to get these things out of your system, generally speaking. If it's just a regular facial, you may just have to wait, 4 weeks or something like that. But if you've been using, let's just say, tretinoin for years and you want to go in for laser, you need to wait like a while. And your Fitzpatrick, let's just say 4, you need to wait 6 to 9 months. I mean, you can pay now or you can pay later, right? So the more questions that the professional asks you before making that appointment, the better. If you go to a professional that is willing to administer acid peels during the summer, because summer is typically a slow time for those types of treatments, they say, yes, come in for that. Do not go to them. Find somebody else. I would turn away people that said, and I know I would lose clients because they said, well, I want to peel now. And I would say, we don't do them over the summer, because I was looking for the benefit of long term. This is why I have clients who've been with me for over 16 years, right? So do not go. So the more questions that they ask you before the service, the better. If you do a service, those of you who watch this later who have had these services, and then they did not offer a post-treatment depending on the service, right? There is a pre-treatment protocol to prep the skin for whatever that you're doing, and a post-treatment protocol. If they don't, usually they'll give you a kit depending on the skincare line that they're carrying. If they give you a kit for that, one of them will slowly lower your pH to prep you for that um, service, and then a post treatment, which to help your skin retain that moisture and reduce the inflammation. So, to reduce the chances of hyperpigmentation and fine lines and wrinkles. Because the very treatment that you're doing to treat hyperpigmentation or acne or um, fine lines and wrinkles can also turn around and make it worse, right? So, if they don't have that, you may want to find somebody else. Okay. Um, okay. So that's for that, for what to look for in a professional. Okay. So can I have? What do you guys think of this? Are you guys getting valuable information here, or should I have just stayed in my PJs in the morning and slowly drink my coffee? My coffee's probably really cold. Well, lukewarm right now. So let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking of this information. Oh yeah, this needs to be reheated up. I'm hearing crickets right now. Okay, so at least one person thinks that I'm giving good information. Oh, you're welcome, Nikki. Oh, okay. Well, that's wonderful for those of you who don't have ADHD, right? Okay. Okay. So, any other questions before I move on? Because I'm about to wrap it up here. Oh, okay. So, if there's any questions, you can put it in here while I am just telling you some last minute things. Okay. So, I, without giving you specifics, I'm going to say this. And for those of you who are international, which it looks like most of you guys are, be careful of drugstore brands, major brands. I realize there's a lot of people on YouTube that talk about drugstore brands. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the major ones like, like Olay or anything from L'Oreal or all these major companies, because I know most of you may not think this way. These big companies they are owned by big pharma or big corporations. They're a publicly traded company. When they're a publicly traded company, they have quarterly reports to report profits. So their main driver is money. So, in order to increase profit margins, they have to use the cheapest, most widely available ingredients, right, to increase the profit margins. Most of their money is to when it's dispersed, if it is a stock that gives dividends, right? Paying their shareholders, their executives, and marketing, 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 marketing. And if you don't believe me, I want you to start looking at your Olay night creams. I want you to start looking at your Neutrogenas, your CeraVes, all of those. Look at the ingredients and look what it's filled in. right? And the more of those you make, the cheaper per cost of that product. So when it's filled with all types of silicone, all kinds of plasticizers, binders, and then your active ingredients are really low on the list, filled with different colors, synthetic fragrances, you have to wonder. They don't so then you start getting hyperpigmentation. Oh, so use this product here. Oh, you have hyperpigmentation, you've got acne, you've got hyperpigmentation, here's hydroquinone. Here's tretinoin. You got fine lines and wrinkles, you've got hydroquinone. You're using tretinoin, you got hyperpigmentation. Well, we have another topical medication for you, hydroquinone. So they're getting money on both ends, right? So you have to remember that a lot of these drugstore brands that so many people promote online, they may not understand about skin, right? Their major driver is, they want money too, right? Which I totally understand. So, but you have to remember that, look at the ingredients for drugstore brands, and you're like, well, this bottle only cost $6, and this bottle cost, $30. Well, look at the ingredients and see. Just because it's expensive, it doesn't mean it's good either, right? But you got to look at the ingredients for that. Can I get a thumbs up for that, you guys? Let me know. I mean, it's so true, right? It's so true. Give me a thumbs up and let me know yes, thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up, because it's true. So if you guys are ever wondering why, if you guys watch my channel enough, for those of you who are new, you may not know, but for those of you who are watching my channel and you go, how come she doesn't promote that many different products? How come I'm not saying, if you have hyperpigmentation, just use this. If you have acne, just use this. And then use this, use this, use this, use this, use this. The reason why is because that is not my goal on YouTube. My goal is to educate you. And that's why most of my videos are about education. It's about educating you. And if I do find a product that's fairly clean, then and I've tried it and I like it, then I do promote it. So, oh, and here is one thing that it just comes to mind. So there was one product that I recommended called Maysama, Maysama, and it's clean and it works really well. And I said on the video that I'm not getting any commission, which I didn't. But because it did so well, they did give me a little bit, not very much, but a little bit of compensation to say thank you. So I want to be upfront with you guys and it was like, I don't remember, it was like $42 or 47 cents or something like that. It was just very, very small. But I do want to tell you, I'm very upfront about it. If I try a product and I don't care for it, I don't do a video on that. And if I see that the ingredients are not as clean as I would like them to be, I don't promote it. So just so you know, that is where I am coming from. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Okay. So if you have not signed up already, I have a thing that says it's the 5 steps of slow aging. Okay. That most people have never heard of, but there's lots of clinical studies. You can do your own research on them, but there's 5 steps to slow aging. If you go on my website on Go See Christy Beauty, a pop-up will go up on the 5 steps, or not beauty, 5 steps of slow aging. Sign up for that, and you will get tips that you will typically not see. And if I start seeing it on social media, like my clients will send me these links. This person is copying you, and it's like, I guess the biggest form of flattery is what do they call? imitating you or whatever, then, that's fine. But um, this is something that I talk about, the 5 steps to slow aging. You can get that, sign up for that. And for those of you, it's a reminder for my clients of the early bird sale, that's not advertised. It's only happening until, I think it's like Monday or Tuesday, and then that's it. Okay. There will be a Black Friday sale, but the discounts won't be as generous. Okay. So so look for that. And then I offer fairly regularly, um, emails that I don't usually put in my videos, or they're like shorter formats of that. So you can also get that as well. Okay. And let's see. Oh, if you are interested in the consultation, you can go on to Go See Christy. So let me see if I can type it in here. Actually, yeah, it's .com. You can get, you can find more information on the consultation. There's one for if you are considering doing laser, but you're not sure. I can do a quick skin analysis to tell you, because I'm a neutral third party, right? If you're considering doing laser, I don't offer laser services, but I can tell you, yeah, you could probably do laser, or no, I don't think you should. um, I offer that, and I also offer just to create a simple skincare protocol for those of you who do not have acne or more complicated skin conditions. Um, so for people who just want a protocol, there's one for that. And then for those of you who have hyperpigmentation or melasma, that's a little bit more, not a little bit, it's actually a lot more complicated. So then there's a consultation for that, and that usually takes a lot longer for the consultation. So you can go ahead and look at that. And then if you have any questions in the products that I recommend, let me know. Okay. So if there is no other thing, then I am going to sign off here, and sit with my hubby and enjoy the rest of my coffee. So enjoy your weekend. And if you want me to do more lives, let me know, because they're easier, because I can just rattle it off, because I've got all this knowledge in here and it just comes to mind very easily. So anyway, we will talk soon. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll be doing some shorts and stuff, just more of a personal thing, so you can get to know me as a human being versus just a bobblehead that just rattles off information. Okay? Okay. So I will talk to you folks soon. And remember, makeup is an art, skincare is a science.